Hello, Alan. I just want to let you know that I've learned a lot from your YouTube channel. It's quirky, informational, and I get great looking results. I'm contacting you today because I just can't beat this lawn here in Nashville, Tennessee. I come from upstate New York, Rochester, and I always had the perfect Kentucky bluegrass lawn, full, thick, green. Did my FERT program, weed control. You were lucky if you could find one weed in my lawn. It also helped that my neighbors on both sides, they kept their lawns looking good too. Minus the creeping Charlie, but I'd spray on their side. Ha ha ha. Here in Nashville, I had tall fescue. I put it down when we moved into the new home. Landscape guy waited too long to lay some of my turf, and it eventually died. He came back the following year replacing sod in the summer. But by that time the summer started early and was extremely hot and longer than normal. Weeds started to grow all over. I waited until fall to kill off the crabgrass, nutsedge, etc. I resodded a month later. It grew in great, but died the following summer. I didn't want any bare spots visible during that summer, so I waited for more weeds to grow in. So I did my best to let any grass grow, just thinking that I would control it again later in the fall. I need your help. I just can't keep up with these hot temps in the weed control. Ivy, nutsedge, Bermuda grass, crabgrass. I'd like to have the feel of that Kentucky bluegrass under my feet again. But if that's not possible here in the South, I'll take anything that is nice and thick, that feels great when you lay on your back in the grass, looking up at the stars. I miss those days. My lawn is full sun, and I'd really appreciate any information you could provide, and thank you in advance for your time and help. Sincerely, Sam. Well, Sam, here's your long-distance dedication. Little Casey Kasem. So if you're on YouTube, I have a picture of Sam's lawn there, and it is not looking good. I think he's got a little bit of like a during summer and then what it looks like now or something. I don't know. It's flat gone. So, Nashville, like that solid transition zone, man. Again, they get some heat there, but they also have a little winter. That's the whole thing. It's not like it stays over 50 degrees all winter there either. They can get some freezes. And so that's that transition zone. You guys really have it tough. I'll tell you, you have a lot of choices in the transition zone that the rest of us don't have, but your challenges are many because every choice comes with some pros and some cons, right? And you can see that he's tested that. He's worked with Fescue, and man, Fescue does. It's pretty close to the feel of Kentucky bluegrass, especially the more improved stuff, but it's not going to be able to handle some of that Nashville heat, especially in this full sun area that he's dealing with. So, I get it. Sam is like at his wit's end, and I get too many emails like this. Too many. But I got you, Sam. I got what you need, bro. I'm going to help you out today. So the first thing I want you to do before you replace anything, and the recommendation I'm going to give you, I don't know if you can do it in the fall. You may have to wait till spring. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the first thing I want you to do is get a soil test. Let's just make sure that there isn't something crazy going on with pH or whatever, right? Just get a soil test. You got everything dead there anyway. You haven't really done anything because you've just been letting it go. So get a soil test. The other thing is dig around. I'm sure you've probably done that since you've resodded and reseeded like 3 or 4 times already, but dig around. Just make sure there's not any giant rocks in there or something like that that's sucking all the moisture out of it, which could be. Or maybe that there's not like some sort of rock bed 4 inches down or, whatever. So do that. Now, the thing is, again, I looked at the weather in Nashville. You're definitely over 95 degrees every year, even in a normal year, like in July and even into August. So you cool season turf's going to be tough, right? So the other thing is your backyard is fenced, and that means something to me too, what that means is your neighbors can't see it. And that goes back to my recommendation here. I am going to recommend that you go with Zoysia. The reason is, number one is Zoysia of all the warm season turfs. Now, my friends with hybrid Bermuda could argue this, and they would have a good argument. But of all the warm season turfs, Zoysia is the softest underfoot, with a very close second of some of the hybrid Bermuda. I've stepped on some Celebration Bermuda before, some Tiff Tough. I mean, nice. Okay, so even Bimini. So I don't want to say that those are not soft, but those probably won't do quite as well in where you're at. So I'm going to say go with Zoysia. That's going to give you a soft feel. I have Empire Zoysia. You could do Empire, but I'll give you 2 other better recommendations, I believe. But my Empire Zoysia is very soft, and Zoysia only comes from a couple different of the originals. I think Meyer. Well, I don't want to get too deep into that, but anyway, all I'm trying to say is there are Zoysias that will do very well in your area, and they're going to be softer under your foot. They're not going to be as soft as Kentucky Bluegrass. This doesn't exist. They're not going to be as soft as turf type tall fescue. That just doesn't exist. But they're going to get pretty close, and that's the Zoysias. There's two I would look at. By the way, the Zoysias are going to do great in your area. However, they're going to green up later than everyone else. So everybody else around you that has turf type tall fescue, they're going to green up in March. You're not going to green up until April. So you're going to be a month behind. That's why I mentioned it's important that your lawn there is fenced so your neighbors can't see. So it's not going to like people are going to be like, bro, what's wrong with your lawn? Why is our lawns all green? We don't do nothing to them, and your lawn's still brown. What's the problem with that? Right? You're not going to get any of that. The other thing will happen in the fall, their lawns will stay greener longer. Their fescue lawns, where yours will start to check out sooner. You'll get the same thing. Bro, why's your lawn turn brown when ours will turn green? Right? And that's one of the problems you have in the transition zone is everything has a give and take. If you go with a warm season turf, you're going to green up later and you're going to go dormant sooner. However, in the summer, your grass is going to party time. Where everybody else's fescue is going to be struggling, you'll be like, bro, why is your fescue looking terrible in the summer and my Zoysia is raging like a lion, right? That's what you're going to be able to say. So that's the difference. That's that give and take. But your backyard's fenced, so it's only for you. It's not for your neighbors to look at. Tell them to quit peeping over the fence, right? All right. So two different Zoysias I would look at. I would look at the Jamur Zoysia, Jamur, and that one, their patent is owned by the Turf Grass Group. That's one of the sod mafia. There's like 3 or 4 different companies that own all the patents to the grass, and I call them the sod mafia. And the Turf Grass Group, I've never worked with them. I saw them at GIE one time, and either way, they're the ones and I'm joking around. They're good companies because they bring these they work with universities and they pay the money that it takes to bring these new cultivars to market. They test them for years, and they put a lot of money in that into research and development. So these are good companies. It's just funny to call them the sod mafia. But the Turf Grass Group has the Jamur Zoysia, which I've never worked with, but I've seen guys in our group that have it, and they just love it. And that'll work great in Nashville. It's highly drought tolerant. So that's one thing. They say it takes lower fertilizer, but bomb it anyway. Who cares? The other one, and I think this might be an even better choice, Innovation Zoysia. That's from Sod Solutions. They're the ones that make the Zoysia. I don't know how available Innovation Zoysia is yet. I know there are a few farms that have it. I haven't seen it, but I've just kind of been following it a little bit. That one actually can handle cold even better. And that's why, guys, that's the issue here, is you don't want the Zoysia to be damaged over the winter. Now, there's Zoysia all the way up, Meyer Zoysia all the way up in the north, and they can handle the cold. So, but the Innovation can handle cold pretty high, can definitely handle Nashville. So those are two I would look at, Innovation and Jamur Zoysia, and I think you're going to be really happy with those. Those give you some flexibility too, especially with the Jamur. It's not going to get a thatch layer. That's one of the challenges you have with Zoysia. If you mow it taller, it'll build thatch. I'm not sure about Innovation, but who cares, right? Mow them tall if you want, where they're nice and soft, but they're pretty soft even if you mow them down around 2 inches. And like my Empire Zoysia really does best at 1 inch. I've never gotten it that low because I have too many bumps, even though the lawn tools were here, and we tried to do some leveling, which is a little announcement I want to make. I got a video coming out this weekend on my Zoysia and some failed attempts. It's not a leveling video, let me just say that. But what it is it's a video that shows you how strong Zoysia is. Zoysia, man, I always used to say that Bermuda, I shouldn't say used to, I still say that Bermuda is the ultimate alpha grass. Like, it will take over anything. St. Augustine, too. St. Augustine will roll around your neck if you lay in the grass too long, but nobody lays in St. Augustine. That's the problem. But, man, I'll tell you what, Zoysia's, it's a power lifter, man. It just chokes. It doesn't grow fast as far as wide, fast, and it's slow to establish. And I'm learning that with Bermuda too, though. Patience, a lot of stuff. I got so many updates coming from my Bermuda grow at the church and my rehab and my Zoysia. I got a couple different Zoysia lawns I'm working on, but I got a Zoysia video coming out, and I will show you what happened when we tried to level a few areas, some things that snuck in there and some things that didn't and all that. But anyway, back to it. Zoysia can be mowed low. So that'll open you up, Sam, to a few different options if you want to mow the lawn a little lower. You know, it looks pretty flat from what you have there. But that's what I would do, man. I would go with Zoysia.